The house lights dim inside the packed auditorium of America's Got Talent. Thousands of people buzz with excitement, chatting, laughing, waving signs, and holding their phones up, ready to capture the next viral moment. The stage glows with the familiar AGT blue, and the giant star-shaped logo pulses behind the judges' table. Simon, Sophia, Heidi, and Howie settle into their seats as the next contestant prepares to walk out. Backstage, 11-year-old Miguel Santiago grips the Philippine flag he brought from home. It's small, slightly wrinkled, but he holds it like a treasure. His palms are sweaty, and he keeps rubbing them on his pants as his mother kneels beside him, fixing his collar and brushing back his hair. "You ready, Anak?" she whispers. Miguel nods, though his throat is dry. He has watched AGT on YouTube for years, dreaming of standing on this stage, but now that he's actually here, everything feels overwhelming. The lights are brighter than he imagined, the crowd is louder than he expected, and when he thinks about what he's about to do, singing the national anthem of the Philippines in front of America, his heart pounds like a drum inside his chest burr. Stagehand signals him forward. "All right, Miguel, you're up, brah." He takes a shaky breath, clutching the flag tighter, brah. His is at brah. Doors slide open. Wave of bright white light washes over him as he steps onto the massive AGT stage. The audience chatter slowly fades as people notice the boy walking in with a flag in his hand. A curious hush falls over the room. The camera zooms in on Miguel, his small figure dwarfed by the huge stage. E reaches center stage and stands behind the microphone stand. He's trembling slightly, but he forces himself to smile. The judges look at him with warm curiosity, brr. Imon leans forward, elbows on the table, brr. "Hello there. What's your name?" Miguel clears his throat softly. "My name is Miguel Santiago. I'm 11 years old, and I'm from the Philippines." The crowd cheers at the mention of his country, and Miguel smiles shyly. The judges nod politely, excited to see what he'll do. Sophia asks, "What made you want to audition for AGT?" Miguel glances toward the wings where his mother stands, wringing her hands. I want to make my mom proud, and I want people to know where I come from." Howie smiles. "That's a beautiful reason. And what will you be singing for us today?" This is the moment. Miguel feels the familiar squeeze in his chest. His hands tighten around the small flag. He looks directly at the judges, voice trembling but determined. "I will sing the national anthem of the Philippines." Lupang Hinirang. A ripple of surprise sweeps across the theater. A national anthem? Unaged? People exchange quick glances. Some whisper to their neighbors. A few raise their eyebrows, unsure what to expect. Simon shifts in his seat, curiosity sharpening in his eyes. He didn't predict this. He wasn't prepared for it. And that's exactly why he's suddenly very, very attentive. The cameras cut to audience faces. Some surprised, some skeptical, many intrigued. No one wants to miss what happens next. Miguel takes a step back, raising the small flag slightly as if drawing courage from it. He breathes in deeply, letting the moment settle over him. The entire auditorium falls silent. No coughs, no murmurs, not even the rustling of programs. It is the rarest kind of silence, one that carries anticipation and respect. The stage lights soften to a single golden spotlight, illuminating the boy alone at center stage. The vast space around him fades into shadow, leaving only the image of an 11-year-old standing proudly, representing his country on a global stage. For a moment, Miguel closes his eyes. He isn't in America anymore. He imagines himself back in Manila, standing at his school during the morning flag ceremony, singing among classmates, feeling the warmth of the rising sun. He imagines his late grandfather, who taught him the anthem, standing beside him, hand over his heart. Then he opens his eyes, and he begins. The first note of Bayang Majilyu floats from his lips, soft at first, but steady. The audience freezes. Something about the purity of his tone captures them instantly. He sings not just with technique, but with heart, every syllable filled with reverence and pride. The judges visibly perk up, expressions shifting from curiosity to stunned admiration. In the darkened crowd, a Filipino couple places their hands over their hearts. Others quietly record the moment, sensing that something extraordinary is happening. Miguel's voice grows stronger, gaining confidence with every line. His posture straightens, his eyes shine. It's as if the anthem lifts him, carrying him higher than the stage lights. By the end of the first verse, the silence in the auditorium has transformed into something electric. An unspoken awareness that they are witnessing not just a performance, but a moment of courage, a moment of identity, a moment of Filipino pride presented to the world by an 11-year-old boy who dared to do something different. And Miguel isn't finished yet. The first line of Lupang Hinirang has barely left Miguel's lips when the atmosphere inside the AGT arena shifts. Subtle at first, like a breath held too long, his voice, pure and unexpectedly powerful, carries across the massive hall with clarity that makes people instinctively sit up straighter. The audience, initially curious or unsure, goes perfectly still. On stage, Miguel stands tall for the first time tonight. He feels the anthem move through him, steadying his breath, grounding his shaking hands. He's no longer the nervous kid who walked onto the stage with trembling shoulders. Now, he sings like someone who knows exactly why he is here. Lupang Hinirang. The projection of his voice reaches the judge's table and the reaction begins. Heidi leans forward, eyes widening. She's heard thousands of young singers, but something about Miguel's tone is different, clean, honest, untouched by fear. Sophia brings her hand slowly to her heart. Even though she doesn't speak Tagalog, she feels the emotion swelling from every note. Howie's eyebrows rise. He murmurs to the judge beside him, "This kid is something else." But the most striking reaction comes from Simon. He had started the performance with his usual analytical stare, his chin resting on his hand. But now, as the anthem continues, his expression softens slowly, first curiosity, then respect, and finally something deeper. His eyes narrow, not in criticism, but in disbelief at what he's witnessing. Because Miguel isn't performing, he's honoring, he's representing, and he's doing it with a voice that seems too mature for an 11-year-old boy. The arena remains silent except for Miguel's steady, soaring melody. This is no ordinary audition. This is history unfolding in real time. Miguel enters the anthem's middle section, the part where the melody lifts. His voice rises effortlessly, echoing around the theater like the sound of a choir in a cathedral. Gasps ripple across the seats. A Filipino man in the audience wipes his eyes. A woman clutches her chest, overwhelmed with pride. Some people who have never even heard this anthem before are still moved, drawn in by the sincerity radiating from the stage. Miguel's voice begins to shake, not from fear, but from emotion. He remembers his mother telling him stories of the Philippines, memories of home, and how his grandfather used to say, "If you sing the anthem, anak, sing it like you're singing for the whole country." And tonight, he feels as if millions of Filipinos around the world are standing behind him, cheering silently, praying for him, lifting him up. The stage lighting grows brighter, illuminating the flag he still holds pressed gently against his chest. The cameras zoom in, capturing the trembling lip, the determined gaze, and the way his small fingers hold the flag like a lifeline. The anthem reaches the line that demands the most vocal control, the part even adults struggle with. Miguel breathes in deeply, the way he practiced countless times. And then, ang mamatay, nang dahil sa, he hits the high note perfectly, clean, strong. It sends goosebumps across the entire auditorium. The moment the note leaves his lips, the arena explodes into gasps and quiet sobs. The camera snaps to Simon. His eyes glisten, his lips are slightly parted. He's not judging anymore, he's experiencing. It's rare for Simon Cowell to look emotional, rarer still for him to look touched, but right now He blinks, sitting back in his chair, overwhelmed at the raw sincerity coming from such a young, unassuming child. He whispers something almost inaudible. Beautiful. The final line echoes beautifully into the silence, and then the last note remains hanging in the air, shimmering like something sacred. Miguel lowers the microphone slowly, almost reverently. The anthem is finished. For one full second, the world seems to stop. No applause, no shouts, just stillness, a collective breath, as if no one wants to break the moment too soon. Then, a roar. The entire crowd rises to its feet in a massive standing ovation, erupting into cheers so loud the judge's table vibrates. Some people cry openly. Others wave improvised Philippine flags, created from red, white, and blue clothing. Miguel's hands fly to his mouth, shocked, He never expected this. Not from Americans, not from judges, not from strangers from all over the world sitting in this arena. Heidi stands first, clapping above her head. Sophia wipes her tears, visibly moved. Howie gives Miguel 2 thumbs up. And Simon. Simon stands slowly, not for drama, not for effect, but out of genuine respect, for a child who did something brave, something rare, something unforgettable. Miguel looks overwhelmed, his eyes filling with tears he'd been holding back since the first note. He did it. He honored his country. He touched America. And nothing in his life will ever be the same after this moment. For several seconds after Miguel finishes singing, the AGT stage feels like holy ground, quiet, glowing, sacred. The golden confetti cannons wait silently in the rafters, as if even they understand they shouldn't interrupt the moment yet. Miguel stands frozen at center stage, clutching his small Philippine flag to his chest. His tiny chest rises and falls rapidly, his breath trembling as he tries to understand what he just did and what he just caused. The audience is still standing. Some people have tears streaming down their faces, others simply stare at him, stunned, hands pressed over their hearts as if they're honoring something greater than a performance. Miguel swallows hard. He has never seen a reaction like the. Not even on YouTube, where he watched AGT every night. He expected polite applause, maybe a few cheers, but this tidal wave of emotion coming from thousands of people, it feels unreal. Enally, the applause swells again, louder, bigger, like a stadium celebrating a championship. He cameras flash, he judges rise one by one, still clapping. Miguel blinks rapidly as tears well in his eyes. Tries to wipe them quickly, embarrassed. Audie can't stop them. They fall anyway, dripping onto the stage floor. Comforting voice breaks through the noise. Miguel, come forward, sweetheart, teased Sophia, leaning across the judge's desk, her voice full of warmth. Miguel takes a small step toward them, still shaky, still overwhelmed. Crowd begins chanting his name. Miguel, Miguel, Miguel. Looks out into the sea of faces, and for a moment, he forgets the cameras, the bright lights, the judges, everything. He sees are thousands of strangers. Americans, Filipinos, people of all backgrounds, clapping for him, crying for him, standing for him. He never imagined that singing an anthem could unite so many. The chanting fades enough for the judges to speak. Heidi places her hands over her heart. Miguel, she says softly, I don't understand the words you sang, but I understood everything you felt. Your voice carried so much pride, so much love. It was beautiful. Miguel sniffles, nodding shyly. Sophia steps in next, her voice breaking slightly. You didn't just sing, she says. You paid tribute. You honored millions of people, and you did it with such dignity and power. He wipes her cheek, embarrassed by her tears. You made us feel something very special. The audience cheers again. Howie leans forward, more serious than usual. Miguel, I've been on this show a long time, and I've seen incredible performers from all over the world. But at you did tonight. I don't think anyone has ever done it this way. He pauses, letting the impact settle. You made the whole world stop and listen. That is talent. That is art. Miguel looks down at his flag, gripping it tighter. Then comes Simon. Simon, who is rarely soft, rarely emotional, rarely sentimental. But tonight, he looks different. His expression is gentle, eyes still glistening from the performance. He takes a deep breath before speaking, something he only does when the moment truly matters. Miguel, he begins slowly. That wasn't just a song. That was a moment of pure pride, pure heart. The audience goes quiet, hanging on his every word. I didn't understand your anthem, Simon continues, but I felt it, every word, every note. You made me feel proud of a country that isn't even mine, because you were proud. Miguel's lips tremble. Simon's voice cracks slightly, just enough for everyone to notice. Your voice is special, but your courage tonight. He shakes his head, smiling softly. That is what makes you unforgettable. Miguel feels tears spill again, but this time he doesn't hide them. Simon looks at him with a seriousness that Miguel has only seen in life-changing auditions. And Miguel, he says quietly, there is only one thing to do after a performance like that. He reaches over his desk. The theater erupts before he even touches the button. Simon Cowell hits the golden buzzer. A thunderous boom echoes. The lights explode into gold. The audience screams, Miguel gasps and covers his face as shimmering confetti rains down like falling stars. His mother runs onto the stage from backstage, tears pouring down her cheeks. She wraps Miguel in the tightest hug he's ever felt, burying her face in his hair, whispering, "Anak, you did it. You made the world hear our anthem." Miguel sobs into her shoulder, overwhelmed, golden confetti sticking to his hair and clothes. The judges smile. Simon stands, hands clasped, head slightly bowed, acknowledging the gravity of what Miguel just did. The cameras zoom in on Miguel's tear-streaked face as he holds his flag high with one hand and his mother's hand with the other. This isn't just a performance. This isn't just a golden buzzer moment. This is a global Filipino moment, broadcast to millions around the world. Miguel didn't just sing. He connected nations. He ignited pride. He made history. And as the golden confetti continues to fall, one thing becomes clear. America didn't just witness a performance. They witnessed a young Filipino boy reminding the world what pride, courage, and heart truly sound like.